G'day, is Daniel Ricciardo leaving Formula One? Well, that's what almost everybody in the Singapore paddock thinks. Daniel Ricciardo to be replaced by Liam Lawson, that's what everybody is talking about. And a lot of people, way more in the know than I am, are surprised this wasn't announced Thursday, media day. Certainly we're all expecting this to be Daniel's last race. He was pretty candid about his future prospects in the press conferences here on Thursday. And today, Liam Lawson showed up. Not only was he here, he was in Daniel Ricciardo's garage for a good quarter of an hour today. But who knows for sure? Well, certainly Red Bull knows. Daniel knows, and I'd say Liam Lawson knows. Daniel's already intimated that there have been several key points during the season where things were to happen, and this point now is one of those points. Watching Liam in Daniel's garage today was a little strange, because if you are Daniel and you know you are leaving this sport and he is your successor, it must be tough to have him standing around in the background overseeing what you're doing. And from Liam's side, I imagine that's a little bit tough on him as well. If we don't get an announcement on Sunday, I would say it's going to be very early next week. That gives the team 3 and a bit weeks to sort out the transition, and there'll be things like signage that needs to be sorted out, websites, sponsor deals, and a whole lot more. Certainly when I was out the front of VCarb last night looking at their launch of their new livery, which I think is fantastic. It's in a denim feel, and I really love the way they have done this zipper. It looked to me like Daniel was a little uncomfortable having to be out there and geeing up the brand, perhaps knowing that he's going to be finishing up with the team after this race in Singapore. And that's certainly what everybody in the paddock believes. I hope that's not the case, but I think that's where we're heading. Jumping now to Oliver Bearman, a couple of stories about Ollie. Yesterday and today, he's been out photographing. He has a Leica camera. Is it his? No, it is not. It's Carlo's. Carlo is one of the Ferrari photographers. He's lent him his Leica camera, and yesterday he put a handful of pics up, all black and whites. And have a look at the number of likes here. At the time of recording this, over 280,000 likes. I had a chat with him today about it, and he said he was just bored at the track, and the team suggested he do some photography. And at FP2 this evening, he headed out with Martin Brundle to one of the far reaches of the track, wearing the photographic tabard that we have to wear, and was able to shoot trackside. Still on Ollie, I was out photographing driver arrivals today. He arrived, went straight over to the crowd, and there was a young lady who had this picture. Well, this is in actual fact Ollie as a baby. And she said, look, can you get Ollie's attention? I thought, well, he's going to work his way down the line. He'll get to you eventually, which he did. Look on his face was gold. He picked up the picture, posed for this picture with me, signed it for the young lady and gave it back to her. And where did she get it? Well, apparently she got it off Ollie's mum's Instagram page. Could this be a new fad to get the attention of a driver? It worked in Ollie's instance. Harking back to last week's race, I caught Raoul, who is Nico Hulkenberg's manager, talking with Ollie at the Haas hospitality suite, and they talked for a couple of minutes, and I ended up going up and having a chat with Raoul afterwards, saying, what was that about? And he said, well, just wanted to congratulate him, done a very good job in the quali, and I think it's important that he hears it from the other side of the garage. I thought that was a lovely team thing to do. I did laugh today at this sign. I had to look twice. It does actually say plus, not, well, you know what I'm saying. And while we're on the subject of the fans out there, I did spend some time with them on Thursday night when I left the track, and they are such good-natured people. This is them. Look at them all.
Islander from Germany.
Yes. Oh, did you draw that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's very good. What a lovely bunch of people.
Give Critic a song.
Sure.
We love Kim. I love your TikToks.
Love your TikToks.
Xie.
Thanks, Kim. Oh, thank you.
Still out with those fans. Carlos Sainz sent them into absolute hysterics this morning when he went to see them. So much so that he had to say to all the fans, please stop pushing the fence, stop it. Others to appease the crowd, Nico Hulkenberg, Alex Albon, Charles Leclerc went over there, and a number of other drivers. Certainly this race gets the attention of the whole city, the whole country. Reasonably smallish country, 5.6 million people, and in the Straits Times on Thursday, a good number of stories for Formula One. I thought that was nice to see that the media's getting behind this event. Certainly it affects the Marina Bay area, the traffic. It's impossible to get around by car, and certainly on foot. It's also tricky, you have to know where you're going. But the good news is here, A lot of the walkways are underground or through shopping centres, which means you're not going out in the stifling heat. Certainly Franco Colapinto was feeling the heat today, fanning himself as he arrived, and he has gone from something like 700,000 followers to 2.2 million followers on Instagram in 10 days. And I see now James Vowles is pushing hard to get Franco into the seat at Audi for next year, which will mean Valtteri Bottas has some serious competition. And I guess until Franco came into the sport 2.5 weeks ago, he wasn't even perhaps a consideration. Suddenly, Valtteri now has a real viable opponent for that seat. Alex Albon has his father with him, Nigel. Now, I believe Nigel used to be a racer of sorts going back many years ago. I've seen him at a couple of races. I must tell you, I think it must have been at this race going back a couple of years ago. Alex was coming out of the garage and his dad was with him, walking slightly in front, and I didn't know who he was. I'm going, get out of the way, can you get out of the way? And Alex walked past me and said, that's my dad. And I said, oh, okay. As you were. Kevin Magnussen, good to see him back in the paddock. Ollie Bearman will be disappointed because he, I'm sure, had the time of his life last weekend in that F1 car. But of course, he'll be there next year for the full season, teaming up with Esteban Ocon, who had a birthday in the previous week. I think it was on the Tuesday. But the team celebrated on Thursday by taking a cake out to the garage where Esteban was doing something, and he was visibly impressed and quite happy to receive the cake, blew the candles out, and I'm pretty sure had none of the cake. I could be wrong, but he certainly didn't have any out in the garage. Let's talk about this paddock. It's quite unique in so much as it's stinking hot during most of the day, and then on two evenings, Wednesday evening and tonight, it's bucketed down big time. And I do remember 2 years ago on race night where it bucketed down, and I was actually having dinner in the Williams hospitality suite, and it was lovely watching drivers coming and going in the rain. But tonight it was bucketing down out there. Out in pit lane today, this was the scene. Ciao, Rob. What was I saying? He distracted me. Ted Kravitz kneeling down in the garage and one of the crew blowing air over dry ice, resulting in this mist blowing over Ted's face. Tonight, the drivers' briefing just started to rain as the last couple of drivers were coming in. We had pairings of George Russell and Mick Schumacher looking like they were going on a date under an umbrella. Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly having a laugh, and then Sergio Perez with his arm around Fernando Alonso. I'm very keen to see how Oliver Bearman's pictures turned out. Here's a couple of mine today. This one in particular is interesting because you get a reflection off the underside of a roof of a bus stop out near turn 10. And I have seen this photo before and I had a crack at it tonight. Effectively, you just pan with the car at about a 25th of a second and you get the car reflection on the top of the ceiling or at the underside of the ceiling, and you get the car at the bottom of the shot. And you take enough photos and you will get something like this. Although, if you're a fan, you won't be able to get access to that area. That is just for marshals and photographers and video people. And the other place I love shooting is the Anderson Bridge. It is an impressive structure, and a couple of corners back from that they were doing some work on the track before FP2, and a lot of you picked up that the welder was wearing just sunglasses. Now I have to go and battle that weather to get back to my hotel, but in the meantime, I'll ask one favour of you. Could you please like this video, or two actually, and subscribe if you haven't done so? It is no big deal for you, just please hit that subscribe button, and for a whole lot of extra stuff, head here and have a look. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.
How would that be? You look like Kenny. Strange man from Britain. Apparently a reasonable photographer.